Welcome to It's About Your Paycheck. We're here to inform you and empower you in regards to your pay. Let's go.
Welcome back, folks, to It's About Your Paycheck. What is good, Walt? How you doing this morning, sir?
Back with another episode for you. The website is up. It's
Yes.
aboutyourpaycheck.com. Go check it out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great helpful information that's out there. You can go to the site. You can find us on TikTok. It's About Your Paycheck on TikTok. And get some help with empowering yourself with some knowledge and some understanding about how your pay works. I'm excited for this
Absolutely.
episode today, man. How about you, Brian?
I am psyched, man. I have so many things that I want to share. I think about this show all the time now. I'm so excited about this show. The first stop on your financial wellness journey. You know what I mean? Come stop with us, right? Where else would you start anyway? It's your paycheck. This is
Yeah.
the first stop. Like, you got to understand your pay. We're going to go through the compliance things, the tips, and so many things. Bro, I'm like, ah. So, it's always like, where do we start? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah. So this is understanding your paycheck, and today we're gonna talk about direct deposit or live check. We got 3 shows already streaming. Okay, there's an intro out there to the show. Just goes what we talk about this again, right? There's a how to calculate gross, and there's a how to calculate net out there, and a bunch of little nuggets in those shows about different things. We
Mhm.
are payroll professionals for over 20 years now. We both have over 40 years of payroll knowledge that we're bringing to you, and we're just like busting at the seams trying to get this info out. We can't get it out fast enough. We're on TikTok. Check out the TikTok at It's About Your Paycheck and the website it's about your paycheck.com. I love the TikTok part because both me and Walt like drop some nuggets here and there randomly, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you all there. Before we dive into this direct deposit and live checks, I got a great little tip for you guys as we this financial wellness journey, right? Budgeting is important. That's the first thing, right? We got to get a like, where do I spend my money? Just like we're going to tell you how to look
Mhm.
at how you make your money, right? Understanding how you make your money. That's with us.
Mhm.
But it's
Mhm.
also like the next step is, okay, where do I, right? Do you budget?
Oh, absolutely. I have
Right.
a monthly
He's
and
like,
per
oh,
per paycheck budget that I pull up every check. And even though my direct deposit might be the same amount because I'm salaried, like my normal paycheck, I
yep,
still have it in there just so I add
you have to.
unexpected expenses. If I travel
There you
somewhere,
go.
I add that to the budget.
Yes.
So I have a little Excel spreadsheet that has all the formulas and stuff in it already. I just plug and play
Yep.
and put my numbers in, and that's how I budget. So I created that for myself a couple of years, and I've been using it ever since. So that's
Yep.
how I do my budget for myself.
Dope. Dope. Yeah, and then one of the key things is keep in mind about, but oh, why do I got to budget? I used to argue with some folks, right? They're like, well, and it's a mentality, and we want to definitely help you break this mentality. It's, oh, I'm broke. Money comes in and it just goes out. I don't need to know anything. Nah, you do need to budget. Sorry, hold that thought. Well, you do need to budget and see where break it down, and it's eye opening, and it could be tough, but if you do that, then you can make moves. If something happens, you can be like, oh man, you know what? I'm gonna have to not do this and move this money over here so that I can get through this. What were you
There,
thinking?
there's multiple ways you can budget, right? You can do it like myself, create a spreadsheet. You could, if you still write checks and do all that stuff,
Oh, the
you can
envelope
use
thing.
you can do that.
Yeah.
Just your checkbook, and you can actually do that with your bank statements too.
Yep.
If you want to go through and tick and tie all your expenses and see, hey, like what's actually coming out of my account, and you can
Yep.
actually go through your bank statements and actually tick and tie that stuff. So there's
Yep.
multiple ways that you can
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah.
You don't. I'm not saying there's one right
No,
solution
there's
for
no one
everyone.
right way. No, sir.
You got to do what's best for you and what works
Yeah.
best for you. Some
And
people will sit down in front of my spreadsheet and be like,
yeah, I
I
don't
ain't
do it
doing
like
that
this.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, you
And
know.
that's the beauty of it, right? Because we're not trying to get into, oh, you should do it this way. Nope. What we are saying is that it is absolutely important and necessary if you want to increase your financial wellness. Period. That go on podcasts and freaking search budgeting. There's a ton of good stuff out there.
And if you want to take out the guesswork, there's apps out there that people
Oh,
have
yep.
created
Heck
that you
yeah.
can download, and it'll do the
Yes.
budgeting for you.
For
Like,
you.
hey,
Yes.
hey, I
Yes.
even have one of those apps, so it tells you like, hey,
Yes.
your account may be low after your expenses this
Yes.
coming up, this coming
Yes.
up.
Analytics. We're gonna
Like
do a whole
it does
episode,
that.
by the way. I meant to say, yes,
Mhm.
because of this, we could just keep going on. It's such an important thing. The apps are dope. It makes it's like an easy button for it. Again, a million ways to do it. First step is start budgeting.
You should do it. That's the key
You
point,
should
right?
do it. Yes.
You should
Yes.
budget.
You should do it. Yes. Thank you, sir.
No matter what
So
level no
nope,
matter what level you're at.
nope.
If you're a high
You're not
earner,
too broke. There's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
So,
I'm sorry, bro. I get so excited with this stuff.
great call out, man. No, great call out. All right, so we got a couple of different sections we're gonna tell you about. Brian's gonna start it off. He's gonna start about direct deposit and live checks. You want to go ahead and get into that?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Direct deposit or any form of electronic payment. So we will speculate about crypto in a second. Basics for direct deposit. It's convenient. It's a paperless method of receiving your pay. Your employer transfers your net payment, not your gross, your net pay directly into your bank account on payday, right? And funds are typically available on the same day as payday, eliminating the need to go to the bank. So if you got direct deposit, you get this, but we take this stuff for granted, okay? And here's a big misconception that I've learned about recently in the direct deposit world where, oh man, and you know what? You're the one that put me onto this first when you started talking, and we're payroll professionals. It's crazy how still info is slow to get good info. You were like, oh, I get my pay a day early or 2 days early or whatever. And I was like, what kind of madness is that? And it's because of the bank you use.
Yeah, right? Brian thought I was doing some shady stuff. He's like, bro,
what you I was like, yo, what are you doing? You can't do that.
No, you pay yourself early before everybody else. I get my pay early.
Yeah. And I was like, yo, that's amazing. So it was like at the beginning. Now it's common. Now they're advertising for it. Wells Fargo is get your pay early with the, and it's like common, right? But here's the thing to understand, folks. Your bank may give you that pay early, but your official check date dictated by your company is when your payday is. Okay.
Yes.
If you get paid every other Friday, your payday is every other Friday. And it's specific, and that is the day that your company has to guarantee delivery by. Okay.
That is a great call out, Brian, because I think a lot of people have gotten calls from employees saying, hey, my money usually hits my account on
Thursday night. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday.
You guys didn't pay me. Like, well, check dates Friday.
Check Friday.
You are being paid, and and same thing happens with me, right? Sometimes I'll still get my money early, and there's other times where the bank's nope, you're gonna have to wait until Friday. And another key point I want to point out to you is just because it says the funds are there's a difference, like he says in your bank account when you look at your statement, there's usually a funds available, or whatever amount in your pending, right?
Yeah.
So those are two different
available balance,
right? Available balance and the balance, right? There's two different amounts that are there. So you may see that pending amount, and your bank, in good faith, lets you access and use those funds ahead of time.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. But that can be a drawback too, right? Because say you got paid incorrectly, and you go use some of those funds.
The payroll can pull that thing back.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's one thing I wanted to point out. So I'll let you get back into it.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, sir. Okay, folks, if you're getting it early because your bank delivers it early, it does not mean now your new check date is whenever your bank pays you. Your check date is still the check date. And legally, they may have until the end of business on payday, right?
Yep.
On check date to deliver funds, right? Because even before the early check, that got me thinking as you were talking about it. I started thinking about back in the day how some people, what, they would get their pay at 12 midnight, and some people would get it at 5 in the morning, and some people would get it at 9 in the morning. And then bro, I've gotten check days on Fridays, and people are like, I'm at 9 in the morning. They're like, yo, I'm not paid yet. I'm not paid yet. I've had people before work starting to hit me up. I haven't got paid yet. I haven't got paid yet. And I'm like, yo, it's not even, hey, let me get to work and check it out.
I remember this one situation because I feel like we could go down the rabbit hole here with all this
We
stuff.
could.
Like I remember this one situation where I got a call from an employee, same type of situation. Hey, it's Friday, money's not in my account.
Yep.
What's up? And so long story short, had to get on the call with them in the bank to figure out what was going on. And the bank said, we have until 5 p.m. today for the funds to post to your account.
Yep. That's right.
They'll be posted by 5 p.m.
Yep. I've had, yes. Agreed. Yep. I've been also a witness to those situations. So please, folks, please, direct deposit is awesome, but understand the difference between when you're getting a deposit and when your actual check date is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So yeah, man, thank you for that too. That's awesome. So crypto. Now we got, if we're talking about, we were just talking about, direct deposit, aka really electronic payments, because crypto is it. People are already getting paid with crypto. I talked to someone with some legal knowledge. I can't, unfortunately, I cannot divulge legally where I got the information from, but it's good information, right? And again, it's anonymous, but and I don't even think this is all I'm going to say is like the way they were breaking it down to me was like, look, if you agree to get paid in apples, that's between you and whoever's paying you, and apples is the currency. So we can't say that paying crypto is okay because it's an agreement between two parties. If you agree to it, it can be paid to you in crypto. So it is already happening. I am aware of companies that already process payroll using crypto to employees. It happens. It's out there. So it's another method. You know what I mean? So if you're wondering, do people get paid in crypto? Yes, they do. And will your company do it? Probably not. It's usually like kind of companies that are opening now, that are progressive, that they're very forward thinking of a technology. It makes sense for them. I don't think, well, it's not yet. Companies are not going to be jumping to it. It would, like, crypto would have to be something here to stay before it becomes an option in mainstream. I think we got a while for mainstream for it.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean by employee versus contractor?
Well, because like they can, contractors can get paid. The 1099 person can get paid via live check or direct deposit. As well. And,
great call.
But sometimes they may not have a specified check date for contractors, like the employees. I know sometimes they do.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's more fluid. It's more every 2 weeks. It's more, I invoice you. You got to pay me in X amount of days or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah. So as a 1099, again, yeah, you can get paid electronically as well. But exactly, there is no set payday for that. You're 1099. You're your own business. It's free market. It's whatever you negotiate with that.
And if you don't submit your invoice,
that's right. You gotta you guys have to, and that's part of it, right? And we can go down rabbit holes, but yes, that's an agreement you make. The other part of the basics we talked about direct deposit is live checks. So paper checks, right? You get a physical paycheck issued to you by your employer. You receive a physical check that you now have to make a decision. You gotta cash it or deposit it. Now the beauty of it is you can electronically deposit it with your phone. So now you automatically, now you making it a direct deposit, which means you should just get that shit direct deposited. Stop playing.
Mhm.
But you can, depending on your bank policies, it could take some time to clear via
Yeah.
phone or not, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, so you take a picture of your phone.
Yeah.
I've
They may let you access a portion of it and
yeah,
then wait for the rest for
they,
you,
all
depending,
that
right?
depends. Yeah, all depends
Yeah.
on how much money you have in the account, how good of a customer you are, how legit that check. Like it's all speculation and discretion at that point, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen in some really bad cases that checks will get held for 15. My daughter just got a check from a job, and they wrote it was like 15 days they held it for because of the questionability of the check. Straight up, it was a questionable check. So they
Well,
held it. The
well,
bank held it.
and there's a lot of one portion of this is that there's a lot of fraud when it comes
Yes.
to live chat,
Heck
right?
yeah. Heck yeah.
There's a ton of fraud out there where hackers and scammers they're able to. I think one of our associates, Christina Hageny, she was in the news because somebody was getting someone to write checks or cash
Yep. Bad
like print
checks.
out checks that
Yep.
looked like they were from Valor payroll, right?
Mhm.
And these are things that you have to be aware for. And Brian will get into the benefits, and we'll get into to the to the downside, the
The
drawbacks
pros and the
of
cons. Yeah,
either.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm. So with
Exactly.
that being said, Brian's gonna kick off the benefits of both.
Yep. And there's before we move forward, there's one call out on the live paycheck, right? And this is it's again, it's the 10 business days deal, but to add to it, it's the first time accounters. If you go open an account for the first time with your paycheck, it doesn't matter who wrote that check. They're going to hold that check for 10, 15 days because not only do they not care who wrote the check, you're the new relationship. They're opening an account for you. Now it's your credibility that they're questioning. They don't care that check could be Google, Apple, Amazon. It don't matter who wrote the check. The government could have wrote the check. You
Mhm.
are opening in a brand new account, and I've had this happen. Folks, they get a brand new job, young folks, right? First timers, they get a brand new job and they go to get their first paycheck and then they go open a bank account and they
Yep.
call us, hey, I didn't get paid. Oh, okay, what happened? You go look through it. They're holding their check for 10 days. So not only is it just something random with shady checks, it could be, but it could also be the first timers. Sorry, sir. All
Yep.
right, we
So
move on to the benefits of direct deposit. And some of them we covered, right? You get it. It's the convenience. That money goes there the same day, right? It's not I got to go get my check and now I got to have to go do something with it. Your money is in the account on payday. And
Mhm.
guess what? You don't have to be in your state, in your home. You can be away on vacation. You could be anywhere in the
Yeah,
world,
yeah, literally across.
anywhere in the world where you have now access to your cash electronically. Boom, you paid. You're good to go. You
Mhm.
have access. And now with the advent of technology, we're up to same day pay. Okay.
Yeah.
There's some
Mhm.
technologies that allow us to go work today. And by 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock tonight, I'm pulling some of my money out.
Mhm.
That's an amazing thing, right? We're in a
Yep.
gig economy. And I believe the gig economy is what really pushed that whole transition. It's a conceptual
Absolutely.
transition, right? Whoa, same day pay. It's an amazing thing. But we're on a financial wellness journey. So be careful with how you manage your money. Stay on a budget. More importantly, why budgets would be important. So now we're talking about convenience, right? Next thing on convenience is security. You reduce the risk of lost and stolen checks. How many times, right? You know how
Mhm.
many people I know have checks sitting in there? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Back in the day, not anymore too much. They have checks sitting in their drawers, and or not that I know of anyway. And
Yeah.
they didn't cash checks because it's in the drawer. They forgot to go like what? Are you crazy?
Mhm.
You lose it. I've heard plenty of horror stories. Like my mom's been victim of that, just having checks and I lost my check.
I
But
threw it
there's a
away.
solution. That's actually if you catch it in time, it's actually not you don't lose money, you just lose time. You got to wait for that money checks to get stopped and but still, why bother with all that nonsense, right? You have direct deposit.
Yes.
Okay. Transactions are electronically recorded, providing a
Yes.
clear payment of history.
Yes.
Okay. You see it in your bank account, what goes in, and it usually says your job's name. Well, right.
Hmm.
If not, you might want to ask them. Might be a legal name, so you just want to verify those
Hmm.
type of things. Like, hey, I work for McDonald's, but this other place is this name is coming up. Oh, that could be the franchise owner. Oh,
Yeah.
it's not under McDonald's. There you go. So things like that. Just be sure you're getting it right. And then efficiency, of course, right? It's automatic payment. Your money's there. You can start paying your bills on time, right? This might be actually a downfall, maybe, or a drawback. Maybe we talk about it is like how people plan it to come out on the same day, and then if your payment doesn't hit, now all of a sudden everything
Oh,
bounced.
yeah.
That might not be the best practice. You might want to plan things to come out the next day,
The next
um,
business day.
the next business day, right? Yeah, thank you, good call. But anyway, there's efficiencies there. Again, you're not dealing with the physical hassle of having to get the check, right? And then having to go do something with the check. You avoid the disasters. You avoid the issues with the timing of direct deposit. About timing with direct deposit. What do we mean for that? Efficiency avoids disasters, definitely. It's about timing.
Because I know you were saying like something about as far as the timing. I think you spoke to it already. I think this is just an extra line. You were talking about the timing of when you get your payment versus the actual
Oh,
the
okay.
check date versus like when you have access to your
Payday,
funds.
check day
Yeah.
versus payday. Okay, timing of
Hmm.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, because that's yeah. So again, efficiencies, automatic payments. You can save contract. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one too. What definitely a benefit of direct deposit now is you can do a lot of splits. They allow most now it's easy. Before it wasn't so easy for some reason. Like the evolution of it was like, hey, boom, one account direct deposit. Oh, but I have
Hmm.
three. Nope, I can only do one. So then you had to split it on your side. But now, gosh, I think most of these, I think currently we can do 8 splits if we want. And not
Yeah.
us. Now the beauty of it is it's employer self-service.
Yeah.
Employee self-service, right? We can go and put in
Hmm.
as many as we want. If you have a
Yeah.
digital system, you can probably split off. So if you want to save money, right? Every check date, right? You can automatically save money or split it off. And I know like parents, they split it off to some kids' accounts and stuff like that. Oh, I put $20 here for my kid every time I get it, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that the technology of it allows for efficiency, ease, and convenience, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, that's it. Walt. Oh, wait. So we got some good
Okay.
things about live checks. I forgot. I was
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
bad.
You got to do that part too.
My bad. My bad. So the good I'm gonna go delicately through these because at the end of the day, my opinion is that you need to have direct deposit. There's no reason not to chime in anywhere you want and tell us why you like live checks over direct deposit. If that's the case, we would love to understand some of the reasons.
Hmm.
I don't think there is a good reason to have live checks. Wait, but I feel like you said something to me yesterday that made sense. But anywho,
Yeah.
some see, this is preference. Some individuals
Yeah.
prefer having a physical live check as a tangible record of their earnings. You still get a pay stub, so you have a tangible record of your earnings.
There was a stat or something that you looked up yesterday when we were prepping for this,
Mm-hmm.
and it said something about how and it's gonna be in the drawbacks, right? So this is foreshadowing,
Right.
but it was saying that when you get direct deposit, you have the habit of not looking at your
Yes.
stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I think that goes into the tangibility part for the live check, right? It's
Yes.
it's it's, it's
That's what
having
they're
it
trying to say. Yeah.
so you can actually view it and read it and say, okay, you'll pay more attention to your check,
Yes.
to your pay
That's
stub,
what we
because it's
said.
usually attached,
Yes,
right?
that's what it was. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Thank you for that. Because again, you see how my mind goes. This is not good. Don't get live checks. But yes, fine. That you can argue that point. You can argue that it's bank flexibility. You can choose when and where to deposit your or cash your check.
Yeah,
Sure,
true.
sure. You have control over the timing of when you access your funds. Again, we're stretching to give you goods. This I don't. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I don't. eh,
It's
please
just it's a
chime in,
personal preference,
comment
right?
on this clip, comment on this clip, chime in. Oh, we got to put a contact us on the. Do we have it? Yeah, we got a
Yeah,
contact. We have a
yeah, we do.
contact on the website and on TikTok. Comment. Tell us why you prefer live checks. I don't understand it, but to each their own. And then now
Oh,
Walt is
mhm.
gonna take us through the drawbacks of each as well. Pros and cons, folks.
Okay.
And it's
All
crazy,
right.
right? Like you think about it, this stuff think is easy, but there's a lot to talk about.
All right. So I'm gonna get through this quickly. All right, guys. So direct deposit drawbacks. Lack of physical oversight. So when checks are deposited directly, some individuals do not routinely review their stubs or bank statements. This lack of oversight could lead to not noticing errors in payments, deductions, or other discrepancies.
Yes.
Physical checks often prompt employees to review their details more closely. We've seen this happen in the industry where someone that gets paid, they're not
Yeah.
looking at their stuff. I don't look at my
They just see
pay.
the dollar.
I've been told this. I don't
Yeah.
look at my pay as long as the deposit, the net deposit is around the same. That's all that matters
Mhm.
to me. And
Yeah.
I've literally been told that as
All
a
the time.
payroll professional
All the
from
time.
an employee.
Hmm.
So that's one thing, right? One of the drawbacks, one of the potential drawbacks is potential banking issues. So I've seen this happen, right? Where a bank purchased another bank
Mm.
and they sent out communication, whether that was a letter or an email to their patrons. And they said, hey, on this date, your routing number is going to change from this to this. Your account number remain the same. I've actually seen that happen. And the person did not, either they forgot about it or they just didn't see the letter or whatever. And so payday comes around and their funds keep getting rejected and returned. And this person's, I don't know what's going on. So those are the type of banking issues that you can run into. If there's an issue with your bank account, such as an account closure, change in account numbers,
Yeah.
or the bank information um, provided is incorrect, this is going to cause delays in payment. This can be especially problematic if the individual relies on the deposit for immediate bills and expenses, which most of us do, because as we
Yeah.
know in America, 60-70% of us
Yeah.
live paycheck to
Yeah.
paycheck, right? And so if there's technical difficulties or outages, you may not be able to access your funds, right? So I've seen it happen where someone lost their bank card and their bank was closed for a while
Ooh.
due to a hurricane, right? Due
Ooh.
to a
Yeah.
hurricane, living in Florida, and it was like the perfect, literally,
Perfect
no pun intended,
storm.
the perfect storm, no pun intended. It was literally the perfect storm for this
Mm.
person. They lost their card, and they could not go to a bank, so they didn't have any access to their funds during this time where power was out and they needed supplies, ice, water. They had to depend on their family members and loved ones to help them out. So that's a potential drawback. You have
Yeah.
security concerns, right? We live in a digital age, right? And as we progress, these hackers and these scammers, we're always talking about cybercrime on this show and other show, right? And so security concerns can happen. So while electronic transfers are generally secure, there's always some risk of unauthorized access. We've seen that happen in here recently in some cases where someone's direct deposit info was changed without them knowing it, right? Because someone gained access to their account. So let me just go down this little tangent, we'll go down this rabbit hole here
Yeah.
for this.
Go ahead.
Right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
You want to make sure that when you log into your, especially when it's like sensitive information such as your bank account and your information like that when it comes that involves your pay. If you do it on a public device, make sure you log out. If you're at
Oh,
a, if you're at an ATM, make sure you
yes.
get your card and make sure that you hit the button that says, "Do you want another transaction?" Because I've seen it where somebody has gotten their card back, but the ATM they drive off and the ATM literally says, "Would you like another transaction?"
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to, and doing the right thing, I've had to hit no for some people, like no,
Wow.
and you know what I'm saying?
And
Because
close it out
I've
for
seen,
them.
yeah, and close it out for them
Wow.
because they drive off and they don't realize that they left themselves exposed for someone to, if someone, the wrong person came up and they would have been like, oh, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
I got some Christmas shopping funds right here. So
Yep.
let me just access this. Thank you. It's a blessing. Won't he do it? Yep. Yep.
No.
So the next one for the drawback for a live check for direct deposit is inflexibility for payment retrieval. With physical checks, employees have control over when and where to cash their checks. Direct deposits do not provide this flexibility as funds are automatically transferred on a set schedule. So this from what I take away from this is that if you have the wrong banking information and say your account just recently changed and or you just switched accounts but you don't update it in the system, you don't update it in your payroll system, you can have issues with getting that payment and getting those funds back. Because if you send it to the wrong account, you send it to the wrong person. I've seen it happen, Brian. I don't know if you have. I've seen it happen to where someone has access, like they were in a relationship, they had a joint account, they both sent their funds there, they went through a bad breakup, and now they're like scrambling to try to close this account. Oh, but payroll got processed already, and now they have to go back to this person and try to get their funds back. And hopefully that person has some decency to them and we'll work with this person to help them like, hey, okay, here's your money. But I've seen it to the point where the person blocked them and they were just out of gas. So I don't know if they had to take legal action, but I've seen that happen. Now we're into the drawbacks of live checks, right? So there's a lot more potential drawbacks with live checks, as Brian noted earlier. Off top, you have the potential for loss or theft. So somebody you may having a physical check, you may put it down somewhere. You may grab your mail on the way in your house and all them are, you put all that stuff together. I've seen people say, "Hey, I threw my check away, so I can't deposit my check now," and you have to get a reprinted check or void and reissue those checks. You can have delayed access to your funds depending on where you cash it at. And so I've seen it to the point. Now, this is just from the employee standpoint. We're only doing from the employee. There are drawbacks for live checks from an employer standpoint too, but that's a different show. So you can have delayed access to your funds, caching fees. So if you're not bankable and or you choose not to bank with someone and you have to take your check somewhere to get cashed,
Oh,
you're going to pay a fee. Some
yes.
people they charge you up to 10% of your net pay for them to give you that service of cashing your check and stuff like that. And so that can present other issues as well with those fees. And then there's times where like some of those check cashing places, like they have to validate stuff. And I've seen people cash a check twice. They take it to one check cashing place and they get another check
Yep.
somehow, and they take that copy or that version of that check to another place and they double dip. What you guys say?
Yeah. No, yes. I've seen a variance of that too,
Mm-hmm.
where either with the when you can deposit on your phone, so you do it on your phone, get that
Mm-hmm.
deposit going, and then you go try to cash it. So now, and you play that game, and then there also been instances where folks like they go cash it, and then they go tell their payroll, I lost it. and they see if they give them another check right quick, and then they go cash another one, right? The same
Mm-hmm.
check.
Yep.
There's variations of those tricks. Yep.
Yep.
We paying
So and
attention.
then live checks, they have an expiration on them, which is why we
Yeah.
call stale date checks, right?
Yep.
Typically there's a time frame that you have in order to cash checks. Some it depends on the company, but standard I think it's usually like 90 days or
I've seen as
whatever.
much
So
as
like
6 months, but yeah, 3 to 6 months.
yeah, so like typically they give you that time frame to cash these checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you pass that threshold, then that check is stale dated, and
Yep.
most banks will not allow you to cash those. If you take
No.
it to your bank, they may. I've seen it to where they may, but they have to do some validation. You need to do some validation, and they need to do that with you. So they'll call your employer to make sure, hey, is this person, is this check, if we cash it, is it still good, whatever, or whatever. So they'll do that validation piece of it. So that's one of the concerns of having a live check. You lose it, you misplace it, you forget about it, and it expires. And now you got to go back through payroll. They have to do a stale date check reversal or whatever, and you go from there. And here's a little nugget for you, right? If you if you believe that's been the case for you and you've misplaced a check, no matter the amount, and it was never refunded or reissued to you, go to your state website for lost funds. Each state should have a lost funds
Yep.
or unclaimed funds site that you can go to, put your name information in the search bar, and see if you have some funds out there. That's a free nugget for you out there, right? You may have some funds out there.
Yeah, GMA right now, Good Morning America, something they're doing. It's part of their show. They're like helping people find out if they have free money. And I forget what they call it, but GMA is doing a special right now on the same thing, and it's SG. You can go right to the website, like Walt says, and do it yourself. Yeah, you don't have to run into GMA on the boardwalk. Don't worry. Like you could just go on the website and go get money.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yes.
sorry. See if you have any money there.
If
And
you
it's
have
not
money.
only
Yes.
yeah, it's not only paychecks, it's like returned insurance and pop. There's basically anybody that ever had a check in your name and that you didn't cash, they have to turn it over to the state. Whatever that check, doesn't
Yep.
matter.
Any payment,
Anything,
right?
any payment. Yeah.
I've gotten money for deposits that I put down when I was in the military in
Oh wow.
Virginia. I had to put a deposit down for my light
Like a
light
rent.
bill.
Oh, there you go. A light.
And
Yes, those are common. Yes.
and I forgot about that. And I years later, my money was just sitting there in this unclaimed fund that
Yep.
I was able to retrieve.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a interesting drawback. Errors and discrepancies, right? So handwritten or manually processed checks are susceptible to human errors such as wrong amounts and misspelled names,
Yep.
leading to complications when you try to cash them. So
Yes,
if you misspell your name or you put your nickname in the system and that's what prints out on your check, when you take it to your bank, they may be like, okay, well, your first name is John or Peter, and but on your check it says Pete or Joe. Like that's a different person. And some banks are really sticklers for that. They'd be like, hey, no, you need to get your employer to reissue this with your correct name on it.
I think that's a great call out altogether, period. Make sure that you're giving your job the same name that your bank has, your legal name, okay? Not your nickname. You know what I mean? They call me Junebug, so I want Junebug on my check. No, like I worked in a place where it's an art place, and no big secret, but I'm not gonna tell names. Where I worked in a art school, a lot of artists, a lot of stage people work here as teachers. Amazing place, but this one person was like, they wanted it by their nickname, and they thought just because they were like so popular and big star that we were just gonna do it. And I was like, no, this is the government. Like I need your legal government name. So the same name that your government has, so that when we do W-2s and all this stuff, your social security card, basically, there we go. It has to tie to your social security card. So you can change your name and do whatever you want, but you have to go through that process. Until you do that, when you get paid, you need to default to your social security name. That's the name that we give people to get paid properly.
Yep. Another one says environmental impact. This is a new one for us. It says regularly using paper checks has greater environmental footprint due to the paper and ink used compared to electronic transfer methods, right? Because there's no footprint. Like I said, there's no impact. You don't have to cut down a tree and
less
get
impact. Yeah.
It's less impact, right?
Yeah.
Bank reconciliation. This is considered a drawback, right? Keeping track of outstanding checks is essential for accurate financial record keeping. Until a check is cashed or deposited, it is an outstanding transaction that can make bank reconciliation more complicated for businesses.
Yep.
Along the escheatment process, all that is stuff that is added onto your employer or whoever pays you. That's something that they have to deal with as a drawback for themselves. And one of the biggest ones is potential for fraud. Paper, like it says here, paper checks can be altered, forged, or duplicated by malicious entities, leading to potential fraud. Like I told you, I've seen it to where a person has done a color copy of their check, printed it on, they had check stock, printed it on other check stock, and taking it to two different check cashing places. Like they went through the thing because it didn't cost them much. All I have to do is print this check out, this stub out on this check stock, please. And they went there and they were able to get paid twice. Right. So at the end of the day, one of the last section that we're going to talk about, and it's about making an informed choice. One of the key things, whether you're deciding to lean towards direct deposit, which Brian loves, or you lean towards live check for you because you want to have more control. These are things you want to look at, right? First thing, you want to consider your lifestyle. Think about your daily routine, travel plans, your banking habits. Direct deposit may be more suitable for those seeking convenience, while live checks offer flexibility. So you have to look at your lifestyle and decide what's best for you. Because direct deposit,
that's fair. That's fair.
They are benefit. They may benefit you, but if you want to live off the grid,
you just took the word of my. Yep, exactly right. Exactly, and I ain't mad at that. Please, God bless.
So like those are different things. And then another thing you want to consider when making this informed choice between direct deposit and live check is the banking options that you have. Check your bank's policies on fund availability for both methods, live check and direct deposit. Consider opening a separate account if you opt for direct deposit to help manage your finances. Like this is to budget. Yep. And then communication is the last one. Discuss your preferences with your employer's HR payroll department. Ensure that they have the correct banking information if you choose direct deposit. So that piece is on you, especially if you have employee self-service. Go ahead.
And not only that, even if either way, like I say, whether you do direct deposit or live checks, make sure your employer has the correct information about you, the right address, the right social. You can't use somebody else's social. Okay.
I can't.
No, I'm sorry. You can't. You the right address, the right social, the right name, your legal name. Again, folks. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and one thing to know is that, so this is going back to what I said about you accessing your payroll information on a public device or someone that someone else has access to. If they know your it's good for you to change your passwords occasionally to update them and not make them something that somebody is familiar with, right? Because typically when most crimes is usually connected to somebody that's close to you or adjacent to somebody close to you, right? You have to be careful and make sure that you're closing those applications out, shutting down those browsers and stuff like that. And so think about it. If you let somebody use your computer and you're one of those people like me, a lot of people do it. You save your password on Google, and all you got to do is go to the site and just click in the thing, and it does your password.
And your username and password, boom, log in. Yep.
The person can get
I,
in and get
mm-hmm,
your stuff, access it, and change it to them,
mm-hmm,
to their account, right?
yep.
You know what I'm
And
saying? And it will look like you did it because it comes from your
yes,
IP address. It comes from your machine.
for all intent and purpose, you did do it, right? It's your account
Mm-hmm.
that did it. And then, not to scare you folks, okay, and it's only a small percentage, but recently, minuscule, one in thousands and tens of thousands transactions so far, and only recently where we feel like the fraud was probably somebody did just that to an employee and was able to reroute one of their paychecks. So we caught it quickly. They caught it quickly, but it insurances and things cover those type of losses when they're caught quickly and reported. But the fact remains is that like we handled it very well, but not every employer is going to handle those type of things well. You may have to wait a long time for your money.
Yeah, you
Okay.
might. You might.
Because there is always a question of, is this the employee running the fraudulent thing? And depending on how your company handles that, so be careful. Be If you do direct deposit, be mindful of how the system works. Set up alerts so that if something changes on the account, you get an alert, right? You get
Mm-hmm.
an email alert when changes happen on your profile. You actively manage your information anywhere it is. It's your information. You need to actively and own that and manage your information. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those are little things. Pay attention. Like if something happens, if you get direct deposit and all of a sudden you got a live check and you didn't make that change, you need to go change your account information. You need to go through some series of security protocols to
Mm-hmm.
protect yourself, because that could be a failed attempt, right? They change your check, it goes live check, boom, something happened with your pay, you didn't do it, you need to change your account info. You know what I mean? So again,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
rare, but it is ramping up, and you got to pay attention. And whether you got a
Yep.
live check or direct deposit doesn't matter. Fraud is fraud, and there's ways they can get at you either way. So again, this is our paycheck. We have to start there. This is our paycheck. We have to be mindful, be intentional about securing your pay, however you choose to get it.
Yep. Yep. Great call out, man.
Yeah, I think that's it, man. I Anything else? Because I want to share some stuff I found
No, go ahead. I'm
real
good.
quick. Okay, cool. And again, we're talking about budgeting. We're talking about financial wellness. And there's just
Mm-hmm.
three little key things that I want to share that I learned recently at a retirement 401k type of planning seminar.
Mm-hmm.
70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently we had a bad year last year and that number just went up. We're up to 70%. Think about that. Let that soak in. 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
64% of Americans, 64% of Americans cannot cover $1,000 of an emergency money.
Yep.
64% of Americans do not have at least $1,000 saved. Okay. 54% of Americans that are saving are not getting any financial advice.
Wow.
So it means, okay, you've taken the step to save. I save a little bit of money here and there, but you're not getting any advice on what to do with that money, how to invest that money. You might as
Yep.
well put it under your bed and just get zero, right? Because if you have money, there's ways to grow that money.
Yep.
But I just wanted to share that thing. These are the type of numbers and the type of things that inspire us to do this show and to help
Yes.
folks and to become part of this conversation of financial wellness. Start at the beginning,
Yep.
your paycheck,
Yep.
because it's
Yep.
these facts that like inspire us and just dang, man, how can, and we're in it. We're in this number, by the way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're in this number.
Yeah.
Like, we are not above any of this stuff here. You know what I mean?
No.
I yeah, I save money. I'm definitely not getting good for, well, I guess no, that's not true. I get financial advice. I do consume a lot of stuff, but I'm not saving the way I should be, not investing the way I should be. It's
Mm-hmm.
different, man. Definitely paycheck to pay, not it's so we're on this journey with you folks, right? And we're
Yep.
like, hey, what better way than to, because we're, this is where we're starting with our paycheck. We got to start with our pay. We got
Mm-hmm.
to take that money, we got to budget it, and then we got to start doing smart things with it. So
Sense.
thanks, folks. Thank you so much for listening. It's about your paycheck.com. Check it out. 3 shows already posted. This will be the 4th.
Yep.
And we'll be back weekly after this. There'll be a new show every week. Check it out on TikTok at It's About Your Paycheck. Come on out. Check it out. Tell a friend and tell a friend.
It's about your paycheck.com.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Peace,
All
y'all.
right.
See you next time.